So today's Sharash Ibar is going to be a good one real quick. Sharash Ibar, Hebrew roots in the pagan tongue. Y'all got boards?
I like writing in my notebooks. I can keep.
It depends on missing what the screen is around for.
No, yeah.
They switch into the notebooks. They keep them. So we ain't gonna need these boards too much longer.
Oh, praise, put them up for new people. So take a few seconds and process this word. Process this word. Those online, if you got a piece of paper, feel free to join in and help out.
You didn't got any. You don't need no praise. Got it. Good job, all of it. He really needs.
That's important.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. It's we can find you Mark. That's supposed to be there.
Shema, will you have it?
My
Oh, APP. All done? Is Joe full on? Joe full on there? Yeah, he's still on.
Yeah, we still on. What's up?
Going to your favorite book. Everybody done? What y'all come up with?
I go on.
Got the baby too? It's a Tazo one. Oh, praise the Tazo one. Give yourself the hand clap. He's the Most High healing you. This is Deuteronomy 30. We take it for granted. We take it lightly, but it's the Most High's prophecies. You are living prophecies. He's healing you that you can speak your native tongue. Tazo one. The first character is the Taza. The one in the middle looks like a Y or a tent peg. That's what it is. It's the Y sound, and the C at the end is the Na sound. Tazo one. How would you process this?
I put the pad that secures the seed.
Say it with the mic, sis.
I put the pad that secures the seed.
I see you not where you get the verse. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Any discrepancies?
Sister T said the path that secures the seed, the legacy.
Sister T?
Continues the seed. Yeah.
Wow, Sister T just getting it. Anything different? We got the path that continues to see, and then what T said?
Continues to see.
And you said secures the seed. Anything different? Any other versions?
The established path.
Go ahead, throw it out there. Go ahead, throw it out. Be strong and wrong. It don't matter. You know, family. It don't matter. No, it's on you.
I did the seed that continues to the house.
The seed that continues to the house.
Strong and wrong.
Strong and wrong. Strong and wrong. But watch how it comes in. Strong and wrong, but watch how it comes together. Jen, you still working?
I kind of got what Sister Joyce got, but I kind of like turned it around. And I was kind of still trying to put it together where it made sense, but it's like I use the tent peg as like holding like the path, holding the seed, like, you know, so I was trying to kind of put it together. So yeah.
Nariah said the way and the life.
Wow. See, that's I'm learning with y'all. Because I process it my way, but y'all think differently. I didn't even catch that. The way in the life. Wow. Tazu Wan, the way in the I like that one better.
Because this
I like that better.
this Zion.
What?
This is Zion, right?
You smart.
That's why I was thinking that it has something to do with the land being established, because that's where he planted the seed, or like he's established himself there as well. So
now you see how Gina and Sister Joy were going, even though those glyphs don't say house, I'm thinking about being inside or being a family, y'all were going to the right place, because Tazowan is Zion in the English. Tazowan is Zion in their language. Tazowan is Zion in their language. So Zion, y'all was dead on. I like Nariah's better though. I like Nariah's better because he said the way and the life. We have no life outside of Zion. We're struggling.
So like even with what she was saying about being in the house, the terminology that comes to mind, if you can't run with the big dogs still on the porch, you better stay in the house. You get out there if you want to. Outside of his wall, you're in trouble.
And that's what the Most High told us. Y'all want to worship the idols? Go ahead, let's see how you turn out. Our parents told us, you want to be grown? You want to be grown? Hop on out there and get a light bill. That's what the Most High told us. Y'all want to be grown? Y'all want to disrespect me? Go on to those other nations and see how you pan out. Zion for us is home base. Like Nariah says, it's our way to life. Outside of Zion, we have no life. That's why we'll go visit, maybe conduct some business with you pagans, but I got to get out of here. They got statues like I ain't over here. They got holes hanging up. We got to get out of here immediately. Well, you want to get a room tonight? No, let's hit the gas. Zion is our home base, family. Zion is home base. Yes. Any comments or questions about that?
go ahead, Gerald.
So, because I'm glad you did this, because I've been wondering this. So when you say Zion is home base, is all of the promised land considered Zion?
Zion is the capital, like, because we grew up in their system. For us, Zion will be, it's called the city of David. So Zion or Tazawan is our capital, our headquarters, but we got other lands. Y'all see our land is vast. We got northern Israel and we got southern Israel. Our capital is in Judea, Jerusalem. So Gerald, Zion for us is our capital, just the easiest way to put that.
So when Revelations 14:1 and the Lamb.
I knew you was good. That's why I asked, was you on? We're going to your book. Hold on, we're going to your book. I knew that's what the Lord. That boy nosy. So what I want to point out, family, This is why these scholars don't know what they're talking about. These lexicons are composed by PhD, Harvard graduates. And what do they say Zion means?
Place,
Parched place. What do parched means?
dry,
Too sharp. Parched means dry. Parched means dry. So the Most High gonna what you got that thing?
My stepdad's feet.
We record the same thing and everything.
That's chef.
I see. That's Chef the Hungry, I see. But on a serious note, we got all these tools by these scholars, so-called scholars, theologians, y'all building these websites, these lexicons, and now you want me to believe that the city of David, who is called the beloved of the Most High, and his capital is dry and parched? You all in the Kool-Aid and don't know the flavor. Zion don't mean parched, it means what y'all said, the way of security. Because Zion is our city and that's our designation. We are called Zion and our city is called Zion.
That made me think about what Nariah was saying as far as the way to life, which I automatically think about like living water. It ain't harsh. There's no way. There's no way.
There's no way Zion is parched and dry, but you got the seminary, all in the Israelite Kool-Aid and don't know the flavor. That's why I told y'all been around long enough, y'all hear me say, family, all these tools we have is not the be all to end all. We use them the best we can, but we still got to filter them. But then you get these cemetery people, the lexicon said, so you know more than them? Yeah, I do know more than them because I'm being healed. I'm being healed. So these lexicons are just for us, are just springboards. We get the full revelation when you come back to the law. So Tazawan became Zion, and it's not a parched place, it's the way of life. It's the path of security for us Israelites, like all y'all was saying. Any comments or questions so far?
Marianne, I saw you earlier. Did you put your hand down?
Yeah, so I was just looking at the spelling. Shouldn't it be Tizayawan?
Let's go back. Did I spell it wrong out?
Yeah, I think there should be a ya in there. Tizayawan. When you look at it, we just had the
Because of the new generation?
Oh, that's what it is?
Yeah, that's the new generation. They're using, I got it coming up, they're using that Yah as a vowel.
Got you.
So that's why this new generation is garbage.
Got
They're
you.
using vowels and we don't have vowels. So Tazawan was satisfied, or I thought I had it, it must have been saved. Because we don't know the true pronunciation, we could say
Right.
Tazawan or Tazawana.
Got you.
Because we don't know about that final A. So depending on your speech pattern, you can say Tazawana or Tazawan. That makes sense?
Got you.
We don't need that Yah they put in there. They use that Yah. Marianne was looking at, y'all see that little apostrophe character?
Mhm.
They put it as a vowel. And we don't have vowels in our system.
Right.
Joe, you got something out?
Yeah, so another part of my thought, like, was a part of the revelation. So prophetically, the Revelations 14:1 is prophetically indicating the land.
Speed shifting. You doing 80 to 60, You doing 80 to 60.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right.
You ain't gotta go to work, do you? Hold on,
All right.
Hold on, put it in neutral. So, what I was telling y'all earlier about that word for kiss, real quick, who was listening? What's the Hebrew word for kiss?
Savon.
Go ahead, girl. That's why you got that PhD.
I just text Jasmine, that's her middle name, Shaquan.
You just got that out of, you don't know what you're doing that good.
I texted her earlier, Shaquan, this is.
Where you get it from?
It was in a Shanana.
This how you do them. This how you do them.
Where'd you get it from, Bill?
I don't remember.
See,
Oh, no, my, her godmom, gave her middle name. Edie gave her middle name, Shaquan. I don't know where she got it from, but I allowed her to give her a middle name.
wow. So Shaquan means kiss, right? And y'all remember how those first two words, the first word was Shaquan and the other word was Nashak? And those letters are the same letters, just transposed, but they both mean the same thing. Here's another lexicon I use, same site. English word sheep there. Can you read this for us?
Sheep, kabosh, or I'm sorry, sheep, a young ram, and then kabosh, and then the same by a transposition of letters.
Y'all see what
Kashab.
it says? We can say kabosh or kashab for the word sheep. All we're doing is transposing the letters. I know it's hard with that generation, but it's pretty much the first word started on the right side is K or kabasha, and the second word is kashaba. Y'all see that? And he's saying it's the same word, it's just transposed letters. Then we do that with Song of Solomon 1, Shaquan and Nashak. You don't know the culture, you don't know what we're saying. You don't know the culture, you don't know. We can use the same word and just change the letters to change the context. Y'all see that? Y'all see that first red arrow? That first red arrow, I got a black box over the vowel. So it's not 3 letters, it's only 2 letters. What word is that?
That's an I, right?
No.
The first one.
The first character? The first character with that red arrow that start on the right side of the box.
Why?
It's supposed to be the tithe.
I hate that character.
It's supposed to be the tithe.
Because I'm thinking about the second. I don't.
So this generation, that's supposed to be the taza, and then the last character is the final N. The final N.
So that first red arrow, because I had that first character is an I.
Did I get it wrong?
The first character that I had for that is an I, and then, unless
I made it messed up. I'm getting messed up.
see, isn't that the character? Or is that it? Or are you
No,
using
it's right
that?
here. It's right here.
Are you using that one? That's
See, it's hard to see because of the computer font. It's the second one.
so it's ka.
No,
Ka.
for them, but for us, it's taza. See? See? Okay, I didn't mess it up. All praises.
Yeah.
All praises. So everybody online, I'm at the first red arrow, and I'm gonna start on the right side of the black box. That's supposed to be a taza. That's supposed to be a taza, and the last character is supposed to be a na. So taza and na, what are we saying?
Design.
Tazan. What does tazan means?
According to that, or
According to this.
Tazan, flocks, i.e., small cattle, sheep, goats.
Y'all don't see it yet. I don't see it yet.
That is what?
What word is this? The red arrow?
Tazan,
Tazan. What does tazan mean?
small cattle,
And
sheep,
and what's the capital of our city?
Zion, Tazawon, the land of the. Because we're the sheep, we're the.
That's Israel.
We are the lost sheep of Israel.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We're
Tazan.
So that land is parched until we, no, look, until we get that.
That's true. But our capital city is Tazawan, meaning Zion, and we're Tazan.
right.
Oh,
the
so
sheep.
we're part of
Tazan, we are Tazan. We are the sheep of the Most High.
Yeah.
We are the sheep of his pasture. So the land is the path of security, and we are the ones being secured.
Mhm.
Good, I raised some up. Man, I thought y'all was gonna be jumping out of here. So a way to process Tazan is I found him in a dry place. I found you in a dry place. You was dirty and bloody, and I swallowed you. You're Tazan. You was nobody. I found you and I secured you. I gave you a land. And when they call us the lost sheep of Israel. Y'all see this?
Yes, sir.
Oh my goodness.
And Nariah said Tazawan kind of sounds like the country Botswana in South Africa. And he said if you put the ba in front of it, but of course everything else sounds similar.
We would have to keep digging, but it is some research that our elders set up in Africa. And our elders were first there running from persecution. So I'm just throwing this out there. If I would put Ba Tazawana, if they are people, they'll let you know.
This is the house of Zion.
House of Zion.
Mhm.
I'm not saying for sure. I'm just, that our elders did populate and run to Africa. So family, let's go to Deuteronomy 32:10. I thought y'all was gonna be shouting in here. I thought I was gonna have to get some white cloths and sheets over y'all.
My mother-in-law, I'll have to touch base with her, but she did mention that a lot of the names of the countries, because she's over in Ghana, she said a lot of names of the country, they all have meanings. They don't just frivolously use wording like we do. So that
it's something to it. Like, I hate to go out there without doing my own research. There was a brother, I seen his YouTube channel, and he went through all the countries of Africa, and he found the names in the Torah,
right,
to let us know, like even Congo. Congo was an African word for belt, but they changed the spelling of it. When the original country it was like he put it back into Israel. He said it's the word for belt, but when you put it back into Hebrew, it's like the girdle of Yah.
Right.
Kanga. That's like I wish I would have saved this. It was a couple laptops ago.
I'll send you the video. If I can find it, I'll
it gotta be, because I found this. Me and Gina, I hadn't even told her I was doing the research yet, so this had to be like 2013, 14.
I've seen it after that.
I was like, wow. He went through all the countries showing how they were originally Hebrew names.
Yeah, it might be another guy, but I've seen a video similar to that.
I was like, wow. So, all right, so let's read Deuteronomy 32:10 from the Septuagint to put this in context. Our capital is Tazawan, and we are Tazan. Tazawan, like y'all was saying, is the path secured, the path established, and we're the ones that were found and rooted. The Father said, I plucked you out of a dry place. Deuteronomy 32:10. Right. Read.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 10. He maintained him in the wilderness in burning thirst and a dry land. He led him about and instructed him and kept him as the apple of an eye.
I led him about. I put y'all on a path to get to Zion, and I secured you. I planted you in Zion. We are Tazan or Tazana, depending on which verses you want, syllables you want to stretch, Tazan or Tazana. We are Tazana or Tazan, and our land is Tazawan. That makes sense? We are the sheep. We are the lost sheep of Israel, and our city, Zion, city of David, is the place of security. That makes sense? So now, now let's get to Gerald, what Gerald want to get to. Let's get to the implications. What does all this mean? Our land is Tazawan, and we're Tazan, and you pagans translated as sheep. We are known as the lost sheep of Israel, or the sheep of his pasture. It all makes sense, ties together.
Do you feel like it reads better in the Septuagint versus?
Because we grew up in the church that verse, Deuteronomy 32:10, it reads a little bit better in the Masoretic text. I caught it, I like it better in the Septuagint because I know it's more authentic, but it does read better in the Masoretic text. I found you in a dry place. I found you. I put you on a path to Zion and I secured you. Kazan. So Tazawan la Tazan. Tazawan la Tazan. Zion made for Zion. Let's get Revelations 11:1. Gerald, can you read? This is where you want to go. And Shemariah, you follow him up with get Exodus 25 ready for us. Exodus 25. Gerald, you got a good mic, Gerald?
Yeah, y'all heard me.
Come. We're going to show you how strong and what the implications are. While we take pride in knowing Hebrew, and while we take pride in being Israel, Yasharallah. Revelations or Kazawan, chapter 11, verses 1 through 2. Revelations chapter 11, verses 1 through 2. Oh,
And
man.
there was
Oh, I don't know if it's coffee or I thought we was gonna be having church in here.
Thank
are
everybody.
we ready?
Process.
Shemai, read.
And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and the angel stood, saying, Rise, and measure the temple of the Most High, and the altar, and them that worship therein.
So
But the court-
here's the angel telling Yachanan or John, the angel is telling John, measure the temple of Yah and measure those who worship therein. Okay, read on.
But the court which is without the temple leave out, and measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles, and the holy city shall they tread underfoot 42 months.
So measure the temple of Yah and those that worship therein, but the court leave out is for the Gentiles. Hold your finger on Revelation 11. This is about to be powerful. Let's go to Exodus 25. Exodus, give everybody a chance to get there. Exodus 25, and we're going to read verses 8 through 9. Washamath is and the names, and these are the names. We know it as Exodus. Washamath, and these are the names. Let's go to Exodus chapter 25, verses 8 through 9. When they tell you that, it don't matter about being Israel, we're all God's people under the blood of Christ. That's Christian dogma. It's Christian dogma.
I heard somebody say that we were all children of God. I just asked the question on Facebook. What does that even mean?
I think I reached post to that. Because it's Christian dogma, we are the children of the Most High. It sounds good. I don't want to offend you. You're a child of God too. But it's blasphemy. You're a blasphemer calling someone a child of the Most High who's not a child of the Most High. You're either a child of the Most High and a stranger who he's going to show favor to, or you are a heathen. You can't have it both ways. So let's cross-reference 11. Remember Revelation 11, John is about to measure the temple and those who worship therein. Man, I can't hold nothing. Once you learn Torah, they can't lie to you anymore. This doctrine that this thing is for everybody, is lies. You have a place, you got to find your place. Your place will never be with Israel. Your place surely is not above Israel. Read. Y'all can leave it on, it should be all right.
I was in my English class and we were reading the I Have a Dream speech, and Martin said that all men and women were created equally. And so I had told my teacher basically that I believe that what we believe, we are not all created equal. The Most High loves us all, but he has his own set of people. He chose his people, and that's not everybody. Like, it's not all Black people or so-called African Americans, because Africans sold us. They knew who we were. And then we were sold here. We didn't follow the Most High, and so here we are, but no one knows that.
Praises.
You're here for a reason.
All praises.
You person not wanting to sit here, it's the Most High Rabah. Because I had some notes at the job and I left them, but I was going to say, and I didn't even know Chef was going to bring you but we gotta raise our children to be crypto Jews. Anyone understand what I mean by that?
Undercover.
Right. We were crypto Jews in Portugal and Europe because we saw my dad get burnt alive. I saw my daughter get raped. So will you recant that Mosaic stuff and be a Christian Catholic? Okay. So our elders who were Black became crypto Jews. I'm a Christian in public. When we go home, we take that mess off. We light a menorah up, but we got to be very secretive because you got the Roman Inquisition, Spanish Inquisition, looking around our houses, seeing if we light menorahs up, seeing if we eat lamb or not. We got to raise our kids to be crypto Jews because if they recite that and keep reciting that, they're gonna classify our children. Back in the 80s, y'all all my age, y'all know he's remedial. Nah, we ain't remedial. We got the truth. And what she said, I got some slides to prove we got to be crypto Jews. That means you have to use wisdom. This law that your father is teaching you is making you wiser than your teachers, but you can't let them know you're wiser than them. So now they won't give you their little diploma. Now chef got to have you sit on his couch to be 45.
Oh, no, but I was telling her the same thing. Like, you ain't gotta try to convince nobody who you are. They ask if you Jewish. Yeah, I'm a Jew. Keep it moving. They understand, but
We're not responsible for your ignorance. So you're not knowing who the real Jews are. It's not my bag to carry. But what she's saying is right, and that's out of the mouth of a babe. So they want us to believe this we are the world doctrine because of Christ. And Christ was only sent to those who were lost. To be lost, that means the Father found you. Tazan, I found you in a dry place. And now you lost the path. If Father didn't find you in a dry place and put you on a path, and then you lost the way, you can't be the lost sheep of the side. That makes sense? Am I stretching this? So in Revelation, the very end of our common records, John is instructed to measure the temple and those who worship therein. But everything you see in the Shemayim is a pattern. Everything you see on the earth is a pattern of what's in heaven. Let's read it, Op. Let's read it.
Which verse?
Exodus, read it in the Masoretic text. I'm glad you said that. Read it in the Masoretic text. This is Exodus 25, verse 8 through 9.
Exodus chapter 25, verse 8. And let them make me a sanctuary.
Who is sanctuaries for?
The Israelites.
Let them make me a sanctuary. Who is the them?
The Israelites is the them.
And who's the me?
The Most High.
Everyone's together?
Mhm.
We're not stretching this, right?
Mhm.
We go,
And let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell among them.
among the world,
The Israelites.
the Catholics,
The Israelites.
the rest.
The Israelites.
Who speaking in tongues, 5 gifts of the Holy Spirit?
The Israelites.
The Israelites, right? Read on verse 9.
Verse 9. According to all that I showed thee after the pattern of the tabernacle.
Stop. We gotta break every word down. He's telling Masha, I want y'all to build a tabernacle for me that I could dwell among you. Then he said, you're gonna make it according to all that I show thee after the pattern of the tabernacle. There's nothing's been built yet. So where's this tabernacle that he's getting the pattern from?
The Shemayim.
Y'all with us? We're not making this up, right? Keep reading, Doc.
Verse 9, according to all that I showed thee after the pattern of the tabernacle and the pattern of all the instruments thereof,
So
even so shall you make it.
So the instruments thereof, the showbread, the menorah, everything we got inside the tabernacle, it was a pattern. The template was in the heavens. Y'all see this? Now I was going to put this history, but we got too much to go over. When the temple was set up, family, this room, those online, I apologize. This room is like the perfect example of the temple. When y'all first come into what we consider the back door, the foyer back there, that would be the court of the women. the court of the women will be back there. And also back there could be strangers called Gentiles.
Would that be considered the courtyard?
But Solomon's temple had multiple courtyards. So there's different courtyards with different restrictions. So when y'all first come in, that will be really for the Hebrew women, but strangers who are lawful can be back there. Where we're at in the sanctuary will only be for Israelite men. Once elders at that door, if you're not Israel, you can't come in here. If you're unclean, you got a Band-Aid on. What happened? You cut yourself, you can't come in. You got to run an issue. You got to stay out in the court of the women. This sanctuary is only for clean Israelites. That makes sense? Now, this room back here that we're using for our kitchenette, that's the holies of holies. That's where the fire of the Most High is. They always keep that burning. The pattern of the tabernacle became the same thing that Solomon built. Now John is making a new pattern for us, and it's for Israel. Y'all see where we're going?
Mm-hmm.
So how's this thing we all the same in Christ when the Most High gave him the pattern from the heaven, and then he told you this court is for women and Gentiles. So how are we all God's people?
Not.
Y'all have to get catches.
What God are you speaking of?
We're destroying high-level Christian dogma right now. They want us to believe if you believe Christ is the Son, that's all you got to do, and you're a child of God. That's not what the text said. That's not what the text said. Let's go to Gerald. You still with us?
I'm still here.
Let's go to Kazawana, Revelation 14:1. Y'all gonna catch this on replay. This is high-level Christian dogma that's being destroyed. Revelation 14:1. Shema.
Shema.
Do you mind if I ask a question?
No.
I know you was given that as an example, but just so I'm clear in my scattered brain right now. So the women that are back there and the righteous Gentiles are the strangers.
Mm-hmm.
And then this room being where the Israelite men are.
Come.
Those righteous Gentile men possibly that are back
Men
there.
and women.
Because it's more so because they're not of the bloodline.
Right.
The reason why they wouldn't have like
Right.
access to this.
Right. You can't come in here.
Gotcha.
You got to be Tazan to come in here. Now, I could be back there. I could go see my wife back there. I don't have to choose to be in here in the sanctuary because there's no law. Once they built the tabernacle up, we don't have a commandment where all men must be in here, especially if I'm not clean. So if I choose, I could be back there with my wife and say, I ain't coming up today. I'm gonna stay back with my wife. But I have the liberty to come into the sanctuary. If you're not Israel, you can't come into the sanctuary. That makes sense? Everyone's tracking?
Members only.
Members only. So let's go to Revelation 14, Joe. Revelation 14:1. Read.
And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his father's name written in their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. And they sung as a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth.
That's all we need to the water revive. Here's a lamb standing on Mount Tazawan with the 144,000. Now, this is confirmation to the question we had months ago, will the 144 include men? And here's another confirmation will include women. Here's another confirmation. I don't think this 144 includes women. And I definitely know it don't include strangers. This 144 is the cream of the crop of Israel. It's the Enochs. It's the Hezekiah. It's our faithful ancient ones. Here's how we're going to do this. There's a lamb and 144 standing on Mount Zion, and they're looking up into heaven. And as they're looking up into heaven, all of the beings are worshiping Yah, and they began to worship Yah standing on Mount Zion. Everyone's with me.
With you.
They're standing on Tazawan, right? For the sake of time, I'm not going to pull it up on the internet, but y'all go to Jubilees chapter 8. Those online, go to Jubilees chapter 8 to verify what we about to read. I got the verses clipped here. Remember, John was told to make a temple. John was told to measure the temple, and he was told to measure those that worship. Now we got a lamb and 144,000 people worshiping, looking up into the heaven as the beings in heaven are worshiping. Everyone's with us? It's making sense?
Yes, sir.
We're not stretching this, right? Jubilees chapter 8. I hope y'all sitting down for this. Jubilees chapter 8. Depending on what version you have, y'all know they play with the versions. We're just going to read. This version is from Safari online. So the online version is Jubilees 8 and 17. But on the online, this site I pulled, I thought it reads better. The font was bigger. It's actually verse 29. So depending on the version you have of Jubilees, start looking around verse 17. Jubilees 8 and 17. For those of you unfamiliar, this is when Noah, with orders from the Most High, he divides the earth up between his three sons. That's what's going on here. So this is Jubilees 8, and I just started at Noah.
You said verse 15.
Depending on what you got,
And Noah. Okay.
the one site had it at verse 17, but this Safari site got it at verse 29.
This one is verse 18.
Okay.
And Noah rejoiced. Oh, shoot.
And Noah rejoiced that his portion came out for Shem.
That this.
And Noah rejoiced that this portion came out for Shem
Sham.
and for his sons, and he remembered all that he had spoken with his mouth in prophecy.
So Noah remembered the prophecy that he spoke. When you speak prophecy, who's giving it to you? The Most High. So Noah's like, wow, the Most High told me to give Shem this portion, and I remember the prophecy Father gave me. Halal with Yah for giving Shem this portion of the earth. Everyone's with us? Read on.
For he said, blessed or Barak Hayah Yahweh Elohim of Sham. And may Yahweh dwell in the dwelling of Sham.
Of the Romans.
The dwelling of Sham.
The Catholics.
May Yahweh dwell in the dwelling of Sham.
You see how no man can boast that? Yah dwells with Shem or Sham. He dwells with us. Y'all see that? I'm not making this up, right? We got a little bit more.
And he knew that the Garden of Eden is the Holy of Holies and the dwelling of Yahweh. And Mount Sinai, the center of the desert. And Mount Tazawan, the center of the navel of the earth.
Can you get them up?
Oh. Yeah, one second.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Can you start that last sentence over in Mount Zion?
And and he knew that the Garden of Eden or Eden is the Holy of Holies and the dwelling of Yahweh, and Mount Sinai, the center of the desert, and Mount Zion, the center of the navel of the earth. These three were created as holy places, Kadash places, facing each other.
There's three holy places on this earth that's set up to be holy. What holy means?
Set apart.
Set apart. The Father set this earth up as a template of what he has in heaven. So the Garden of Eden is the holiest of holies where he's going to reside. That's where we're trying to get back to. And then Mount Sinai, where he gave us the covenant, he gave us the bread of life, is a holy place. And then Tazawan, the city of David, is a holy place.
And then all three facing each other is something that sticks out to me.
This earth is set up as a holy temple for us to worship him.
That's crazy.
Y'all get that in your spirits. He set up Tazawan to be a secured place for Tazan to worship him. Y'all see this?
But Tazan is harsh though.
We ain't.
Okay, I'm trying to see you. I'm trying to look at the context you were saying.
She's an Israelite now.
Yeah.
But Zion is a harsh place, but he set Mount Zion up to be one of the holy places. And now let's go back to Revelation 14 or Revelation 11. He said, measure the temple for them and those that worship. And then Mount Zion is for us. How can we all be God's children? How can we all be sheep? Y'all see this?
Uh,